afternoon, July 6th at 4 o'clock on the campus of the Massachusetts Maritime Academy. I got it. It's July 4th weekend. It's going to be a real tough one getting over there. Unfortunately, we don't really have much choice when it comes to the dates that we can run this program at Mass Maritime because of all the conflicts that we have. So the program will kick off on July 6th, that Sunday. I'll come back in a little bit more detail. A second important date for you to remember is Sunday, July 13th, because that's the day that we're going to invite the parents and family to campus for about 4 hours to connect with your sons and daughters. And then we have a cookout set up for you. You'll be able to tour the training ship, tour the training facilities, go up into the dorms. We're doing this because I realize that for many of your sons and daughters, this is probably the longest they've ever been away from home. And we're trying to give them some relief. And we'll talk about cell phones a little towards the end of this program, too. And then the third important date is going to be Saturday morning, July 19th. That's the graduation or the commencement ceremony that we have for ASLP. It's a pretty cool ceremony that we have. It lasts all of about an hour. It's going to go at 10 o'clock this year. Last year we went at 9. It's just a little bit too early. And so those are the three key dates. Going back to Sunday, July 6th, we will have an earlier check-in at 3 o'clock in the afternoon for parents that need to spend some time and talk with the nurse. The nurse practitioner, Luann Nems, will be on campus with us for any of those issues. But the general check-in will be at 4 o'clock. The check-in location will be the admissions building, which is the last building on the left when you drive onto the campus. In fact, it's the only building on the left. There will be signage up. There will be cadets guiding you. That's where you're gonna go. You're gonna check in with your sons and your daughters. We'll take care of any remaining paperwork that needs to be handled. Yeah, your sons and daughters will be issued 2 T-shirts. They'll get their room assignment. They'll get a water bottle and a backpack, and anything else that we think that we can give them. And then from there, what'll happen is we'll send the cadets. Then will direct you and your sons and daughters over into the dormitories to go up into their rooms and try to get them settled in. This year, if there's anybody on the call is returning from last year, this year we are going to be in 3rd and 5th company. That probably doesn't mean much to a lot of you, but it is significant because 3rd and 5th company are parallel to the water on the west side of the campus. And there is a sea breeze that comes in through the window. So it's not nearly as hot as 4th and 7th company where we were last year. I'm not saying it doesn't get hot, but it's the best of a bad situation in July on the campus of the Mass Maritime Academy. But the cadets will then bring you over to the dorms, relax, settle in, and then we'll have all of the parents and the students come down to the dining facility. At which point Eddie Vasha, who is the on-site director, and Felicity Janjelski, my assistant on-site director, will give some general comments to everyone, answer any questions that you may have. And then after about 15 to 20 minutes, we're going to ask you to say goodbye to your sons and daughters. And the cadets are going to take them away. This doesn't sound strange. But they're going to take them away to the auditorium or to the gym, where we're going to try to do an icebreaker with them. The cadet cadre that I have, or the cadet counselors, are going to try to get to know them, get them to be relaxed. And at that time, the parents can remain in the dining facility, and myself and Ed and Felicity will be there to answer any questions that you may have. And then from there, we're going to ask you to go ahead and head on home and let us take it from there. Then we're going to bring, after the icebreaker is done, we're going to bring the students back to the dining facility where we're going to have some pizza and drink and food for them. And then from there, we're going to take them up into their dorm spaces, get them familiar with the dormitories. We have to do a fire drill that night just to show them where to go in the event something should happen. And then that's it. And then we get up on Monday morning and the program commences. On that July 13th date that we talked about on the picnic, we're going to ask the parents to arrive at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's a Sunday, so parking should not be a problem. And then we will have your sons and your daughters out on the parade field. We'll have you connect up with them. And then from there, you can pretty much do whatever you want on the campus. We'll have the entire campus open up for each of you. If we have a situation where a student, their parents or family cannot make that Sunday cookout, if we know who they are in advance, we'll end up assigning some cadets to them. And they generally kind of work as assistants and help, and we just try to keep them busy. Or if it's possible, we may have them tag along with another family. And then on that July 19th day, just to go back into a little bit more detail, the graduation is going to kick off at 10 o'clock sharp. I would arrive on campus probably about 9 o'clock. Again, it's a weekend day, so there shouldn't be a lot of conflict there with activities on the campus. And then I think you'll be very impressed. We have the students all lined up outside. We've got them alphabetical. They usually march in with the cadet counselors. They're usually dancing and having fun. And then we kick off the graduation ceremony, which consists of a completion certificate. We also, the Academy each year gives us scholarships to award to top students. Last year, in honor of the fact it was our 20th anniversary, they actually gave us 20 scholarships. I'm trying to get as many as I possibly can for this year. I just don't know what the number is going to be. I'm dealing with some new folks over there in the admissions department. And then one of the bigger things that happens also on the graduation day is we award what we call the McClellan Cup. It looks like our version of the Stanley Cup, and it goes to the top pod. What a pod is, it's a group. There's going to be 8 of them. This year, we're going to go with planets within our solar system. And we're going to include Pluto. And we picked 8 planets. One of them is going to be Pluto. For the parents in the room, there's one planet we didn't want to pick because, again, these are 7th and 8th graders. Could get too awkward for the most part. That cookout on that day, there's no cost for that. It'll go from 10 to 2. Chartwell's is our food service provider. They do a fantastic job on the cookout. Now, let me go ahead and talk to you about a typical day at ASLP for the students. Typical day at ASLP starts at 6:30 in the morning with reveille. We get everybody up. However, if we've got some motivated students and they want to get up at 6, they can go out in PT, physical training, with some of our cadets. It usually consists of a run around the campus and calisthenics. Purely voluntary. You don't need to do it, but we seem to have quite a few kids that participate in that. And it's run by the cadets, and also Felicity is a physical specimen, so she likes to get out there and exercise too. And no matter what happens, all kids will be up at 6:30 in the morning. We give them plenty of time to get cleaned up, to shower, to brush their teeth, maybe go back and pick up their room. And then we do a roll call to make sure that we've got all of the kids where they're supposed to be with all of their fingers and toes. And then from there, we bring them on down to the mess deck for breakfast. And breakfast generally goes from 7 to 8 o'clock. But when you're going to be a soon to be 8th and 9th grader, these kids usually tend to eat in about 15 minutes in and out of there. But either way, there's breakfast goes for about an hour. A little before 8 o'clock, all of the students will be told to go out onto the parade field, and then we will break them into their STEM pathways or their STEM class. One of the themes that you're going to find out about our program is we do, in the course of a day, somewhere in the neighborhood of 9 to 10 musters. In other words, we take attendance 9 to 10 times. We've got a really good system in checks and balances to make sure that with this many kids on our campus, that we've got a good accountability and we've got our eyes on them pretty much at all times. But anyway, so at 8 o'clock, all the students will be out on the parade field, and they're going to break them into their STEM classes. The way the STEM program works is there's 3 pathways that consist of 3 classes that go for 3 days for 3.5 hours. So it's 3, 3, 3, 3.5. And they will break them into whatever class that they're assigned for that day. And then the cadets will actually walk the students over to the class where the professor is waiting, hand them over to the professor. The professor now does another muster, takes attendance, and those cadets will stay with that class, and that class will go from 8:30 until 12 o'clock each and every day at the program. All of the STEM classes are very hands-on. They're going to be using the ship simulator, the ROVs, the emergency management simulator. There'll be some field trips and a whole host of other stuff. So it's all very, very type engaging work. I should mention that a typical day at ASLP is really broken down into 4 phases. In the morning, that STEM period is phase number 1. Phase number 2 is the afternoon humanities classes that go for an hour and 45 minutes. Phase 3 of a typical day is the late afternoon activities, which is generally pod oriented. And then phase 4 is the evening activities where it's all hands. We're usually over in Admiral's Hall and we have group activities for the most part. Humanities classes. So after the STEM classes are done, the professor is going to turn the students back over to the cadets. They're going to now bring them over to the mess deck. They'll probably give an opportunity to run up to their rooms to do whatever they need to do. Bring them down. We get them into the mess deck, and they have lunch from 12 to 12:45. And then at 12:45, they're going to get the word again. Now, out onto the parade field, all of the students for ASLP, and the cadets will now break them into their humanities classes. And similar to the STEM program, they'll do they'll do a muster on the parade field, and then they'll bring them over to their humanities classes, whether it is music appreciation or the art class or the yearbook class or the critics corner or the movie making class. They bring them over, they hand them over to the teacher, and then the teacher will do another muster of the students. And that in the humanities classes, each day go for 1 hour and 45 minutes. So it goes from 12:45 until 2:30. And then a little after, when they're done at 2:30, the students now are brought back to the dorms. They're given an opportunity to go up into their rooms, put any of their stuff away. They may have some books. They may have, in a couple of cases, in the filmmaking class, they may have to bring their cell phone with them to that. And then we get prepared for the late afternoon activities, which is pod stuff. And when I say pod stuff, the way pods work is there's 8 groups, roughly it'll be about 25 students. They have each one of them will build their own guide arm. It's a flag. It'll have their name of their pod, we're the Martians or whatever it's going to be. And then they'll engage in probably one of 8 different type of afternoon activities. It could be water survival, where they'll actually put on the immersion suits or the Gumby suits, and then we throw them in the canal. No, they lower them into the canal if they want to do that. They don't have to do that, but I can tell you the campus gets hot late in the afternoon in July, and a lot of these kids really like to do that. They'll also get a chance to go on board the Ernestina, the schooner that we have over there. They're going to get a tour of the training ship, which I have not even been on yet. Which will be something to see. They'll participate in a leadership class that we have. They'll begin the process of building cardboard boats, which they will put in the pool on the last day of the program, and actually race them. It's one of the capstones of the program, and it's one of the more funnier things that we do at ASLP, or most memorable. There's a whole host of activities, and we also have the only real sports that we have in the program is we'll have a kickball, where one pod will play against another pod. And then late afternoon activities, the pod activities go right up until about 5 o'clock. And then we bring them over to the dorms again, give them a chance to go to do whatever they need to do up in their rooms. And then we bring them down into the mess deck, and we have dinner from 5 until 6 o'clock. After 6 o'clock, we get them all out onto the parade field again. And guess what? We muster them again to make sure that we've got them all there with all their fingers and toes. And then we bring them and we set them up for the evening activities. This year, we've got some pretty neat stuff. We have a magician that comes in. We do that early on in the program because he's a lot of laughs and a lot of fun. So we've got a magician that's coming in this year. We have the mad scientist that's coming in. Just by the name, You can tell he's quite an entertainer. He was a huge hit last year. We have some ham radio operators that are going to come in this year. They were here last year, and I think the kids were talking to other kids in Great Britain and some other places. Um, we also have two socials. We have dancers. One this year will be in the mess deck where we bring a DJ in and the kids decorate the dining facility. And Chartwell's puts out some food and water and stuff like that. And then the second social that we have, these are generally on Friday nights. So the second one will be the last Friday. That one is actually going to be held on the training ship on the fantail at the back. We got the permission from the captain to do that. So that'll be pretty cool and pretty different. In addition to that, this year we got a guy, we got a guy who's a Bigfoot explorer, the gorilla in the woods guy thing. I mean, they really do exist. He was pretty good last year. He's coming back this year. I told him I don't want him scaring the kids. But so we have a whole host, and then at night we also have a talent show, and I think we have a trivia night and a whole host of things at night. But the evening portion goes right up until a little before 10 o'clock, at which point we bring all the kids back now into the dorms. We get them settled up into their rooms, and it's lights out at 10 o'clock after we've gone and made sure that we have every single kid in their assigned rooms. And then I don't leave campus at night until I get the thumbs up from Eddie Vasha and all of the staff members that are there, that we have everyone properly accounted for and everyone is doing well for the most part. So that's kind of a typical day. Lights out. I can tell you the kids sleep real well because we keep them going all day long. There's very, very little downtime. Let me shift focus now. This is kind of geared towards the kids, the students that are listening to me right here. And these are some of the questions, and I'm going to jump around a little bit on this thing. They're going to be housed in, as I mentioned earlier, third and fifth company, which is on the west end of the campus. The young ladies will be in fifth company, which is a completely separate dormitory. There'll be no men in any of those on any of those floors or in that building. The young men will be housed in third company. Same deal. It'll be just all men that are over there. These dorms are really good from a security standpoint because we have watches in place. You can't get in or out of there without going through the security watches that we have in place. First question I usually get from the kids is, what's the food like? It depends on what you like to eat. Chartwell's is our food service provider. They're fantastic. They really bend over backwards for not just the summer camps, but for the cadets at Mass Maritime. And it runs the gamut from the fast food, the pizza, the hamburgers, the hot dogs, to the healthy choices, the vegetables and the lean meat or the salads and soup and sugar-free drinks and things of that nature. Chartwell's is also very good about making accommodations for any dietary restrictions that your sons and daughters may have. Hopefully we'll know in advance about that so I can give the Chartwell's folks a heads up. In those cases, anyone that I've talked to, I've put them in touch with Luann, and then from Luann in charge, should be in contact with Bob Cobb, the food service director. But the food, it's one thing the kids really rave about the program is they really enjoy the food, and it's a wide variety, all three meals. In addition to that, we have snacks at night. Here's cell phones. This is one I guess I need the parents to really listen to on this. Again, knowing that this is probably the longest that many of your sons and daughters have ever been away from home. Cell phones are probably a good idea, but they can be a blessing, but they can also be a curse. So the policy that we're going to implement on the cell phones, and I'm going to need the parents to help me, bring your cell phones, but they remain in your room during the day. When you get back to your room at night, you can call home, call your friends. They call whomever they see fit, but we just don't want to see them during the day and in the classrooms unless they're specifically instructed to do so. I think the parents can monitor what their kids are doing on their cell phones too. Somebody had told me that, whether that's true or not. I'm just not that sophisticated. But I can tell you that the problems that I've had from a behavioral aspect in the past have centered around cell phones and bullying and things of that nature. So we're very, very in tune to that. So that's the policy. You can bring your cell phones, but they stay in your room. And then when you get back to your room at night, you can call home and give your family and your folks an update on what's going on. Roommates. We will not have roommate assignments until probably 3 weeks before the program commences. We just don't have a good handle on how many kids that we actually have just yet coming into the program. Roommates, one of the things that we don't do is we do not put kids from the same school districts as roommates. One of the things, the way the program is designed, it forces the students to meet other kids from other school districts. If we don't do that, what happens is we have all the Barnstable kids hanging out with the Barnstable kids and all the Sandwich kids hanging out with the Sandwich kids. It works by splitting them up for the most part. There'll be two to a room. The rooms are configured to house 3 college students. So there's plenty of room in each of the rooms. You'll have a wardrobe, a cabinet, a bureau, a desk, a light, and there's a sink in each of the rooms. They're very, very spacious. And it will be two to a room. On each of the floors, the bathrooms, they have individually enclosed showers, individually enclosed toilet stalls. There's plenty of privacy in the bathroom setting, and they're designed obviously to house a lot of college students. So there's plenty of room, and they're very comfortable, and there's plenty of privacy there. Gwen has already sent out the what to bring list. I think she may have even attached it with this email. But there's a couple of things that you're gonna have to make sure you bring a fan and a good size fan. The small little ones are probably just not going to be strong enough. A fan is really a must bring. Another thing I would recommend that they bring too is a night light. That may not be on their that what to bring list, because I just thought about this is something that came up last year. Once it's lights out, the dorm rooms can get kind of dark, and they are a bunk bed, so a night light that can plug right into a socket is a pretty good idea. Sneakers. There's none of the facilities at the Massachusetts Maritime Academy will allow us to use them if you show up in flip-flops or sandals or any of that stuff. So sneakers, sneakers, and sneakers. The only flip-flops would be shower shoes to get to and from the shower. I would recommend that the students bring a bathrobe to get to and from the showers also, rather than just a towel. Cash, how much money should you give your sons and daughters? I'd say $20. There is a school store that'll be open during the day, and that'll be one of the afternoon pod activities, is to go over there and just look around, maybe buy a candy bar or something to that effect. But also there is a snack bar that's run by the dining facilities folks. It wasn't open last year, but according to Bob Cobb, the dining hall manager, he could open it up this year for us, so kids can go down at night, late at night, to get a slice of pizza or something, or some popcorn and stuff like that. But I think $20 would be more than enough money to bring. As the program progress, oh, I'm sorry. Also, this is another key: laundry. When you come on that cookout day, hopefully you'll bring some clean laundry for your sons and daughters and take some stuff back. But we will do laundry once a week. And what we need, though, and what the students must bring, is one of those mesh laundry bags. We learned this the hard way. Stuff gets mixed up real fast. So a mesh laundry bag is huge. And we'll take care of that. We take care of the laundry soap. It doesn't cost anything. It's all part of the program. So laundry twice a week, and plus whatever you can bring on that Sunday would be huge. And I'm just looking at my notes. I just want to make sure that I've got everything. We are going to issue a water bottle and a backpack when they check in, along with those 2 T-shirts. But I'd also recommend that the students bring a water bottle, an extra one. We seem to have an abundance of them at the end of every ASLP, from either being lost and found and all the rest of that good stuff. ratio this year. I think we've gone at males to females. I think we're about 55% females, 45% males. It's pretty good. And it's good to see 55%. We're an engineering program for the most part. To have that many young ladies coming to the program is huge. Um, a couple of other things too. On that Monday morning, after the program kicks off, we have what we call a town meeting, and that's where we get all the students in the Admiral's Hall. And that's where I kind of come in and kind of go over all the do's and the don'ts and the stuff that's gonna get them in trouble. And some of the things that I guess for the most part, I kind of read them the riot act. I'm kind of the boogeyman behind the short, squat, white haired guy that kind of creeps around the background of the program while all the young people run it from day to day. But we'll go over all the things to keep them, number one, safe, and to avoid me or Ed Vasha having to make any phone calls to you. I'm looking for help. Um, and let me think what else I got here. Hang on one second. For the parents in the call, I know if I was in your shoes, safety and security would be one of my biggest issues. I can tell you in the first off, I'm the program director. I am there every day during the program, provided I don't have to, nothing else is going on, from about 6:30 in the morning until about 10:15 at night. So it's a long day, but I will not leave there until I know that we've got everybody accounted for. I have an on-site supervisor. His name is Eddie Vasha. He couldn't make this call because of a family emergency tonight. He is there. He's in the dorms. He is there 24 hours a day, all 14 days. I also have an assistant on-site supervisor. It's Felicity Janjowski. I always kill her name when I say that, but she is also there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, living right there in the dorms with the kids. This year, going into the program, I've got a nurse practitioner, Luann, who's there during the day. She's on call. Luann oftentimes spends the night on the campus. We have a conference center where we can put her up. But at night, I have a resident assistant who's also a registered nurse that's there. And so she's living right up in the dorms with the young women. Okay, so we've got that. I have 6 resident assistants. Most of these are professionals, they're teachers, this is kind of a summer gig that they do. I've got 2 males. They stay in the dorms with the males. They're in their own room on the floors, keeping an eye on things and keeping their ears open. And then I got an additional 4 female resident assistants that are staying in the dorms to help make sure that we maintain good order and discipline and everything is safe. In addition to that, we have what we call security watches. And if you try to envision that one building is third company, the next building is fifth company, they're connected in the middle, but you can't go from third to fifth. You got to go down to the first floor. We have cadet watches in key strategic locations, so nobody can get in and out of the building without getting past them. So that's one level of security that we have. In addition to that, the dormitories in third and fifth company are off limits to everyone on the campus except for obviously public safety and the staff of ASLP. In addition to that, we have 22 cadet counselors that are going to work the program this year. These are generally sophomores. There's a couple of freshmen. They're all handpicked. They're good students. They're smart students. They're very, very trustworthy. So we've got a lot of eyes on the kids. The nurse's office or health services office is located on the very first floor of fifth company. It's right down there. So if there's medications that we need to store, refrigerate, we've got all of that there. This year, the Mass Maritime medical doctor is going to set up Luann, my nurse practitioner, with actually a really well done nurse's office to work out of. So there is a lot of eyes on the students. It doesn't mean something still can't go wrong, but we certainly give this the college try for the most part. I can go on for hours. So let me go ahead and pop this out there. What do we got for questions? Or is there a way of putting them in a chat here? Did I cover everything?
So
Let me ask, oh, good.
people can put them in the chat, and
Okay.
I can read them out. How's that?
Ideally, cash would be the best in terms of the money.
All right. How is physical training going to work this year?
Yeah, it'll go at 6 o'clock in the morning. It generally involves mustering students that would like to do it outside of Fifth Company along the water. From there, they do their stretches, and then they'll probably go for a jog around the perimeter of the campus, which is about a mile. And then they'll do some calisthenics, probably out on the parade field, that kind of stuff. I mean, they've got about a half hour to do it.
All right. And I'm a parent of two kids who went through ASLP, by the way, and
Yeah,
loved it, but none of them went for the physical training. I'm not going to lie. I think my kid barely made muster every morning, the youngest.
it's
Um,
it's it's
and
purely
he still had a great time.
it's purely optional. You don't have to do it.
Exactly.
The
Um,
door,
can you bring snacks for them to have in their rooms?
yes, you might. You sure can.
Can you go over the classes in each of the three STEM programs, please?
That's going to take an awful long time to do it. Maybe that'd be something I'd be better off doing offline with you.
Okay. Can you change your humanities course?
Yeah, that's going to be tough, but you have to send a message off to Gwen and see what we can do. It's a balancing act. They're trying to make sure that we've got an even amount of kids in each of the humanities classes. So we'll have to, I can't make a guarantee on that, but we can certainly look at it. I saw something about the pool and swimming in the pool this year. It's going to be a problem. There's going to be some renovations going on with the pool this year, which I didn't know about until just a couple of weeks ago. We can use the pool to do the cardboard boat race. We can use the pool to do the ROV demonstrations, but we're not going to be able to do a general swimming.
Uh, how many fans are allowed and how big?
The bigger the better. And one is good. I mean, just one good sized fan. One of those square ones would probably get the job done.
Are iPads or Apple Watches allowed if students don't have phones?
Yes, but they're going to have to stay in their rooms, and not to be used until night.
And this, on a similar vein, it doesn't sound like there will be much free time. There isn't. But my son wanted to know if he can bring his Nintendo Switch, which is a handheld. I know you don't know this, Steve. It's a handheld gaming system.
He can, but you bring it at your own risk.
Are the dorms locked with some type of entry card needed 24 hours?
The dorms are locked. The general access to the dorms are locked. This year, though, we were toying with the idea because one of the problems that we have each year is the key card's not working. So we were toying with the idea this year that we would have um, master keys issued to all of the staff members, have the students lock their rooms when they leave for the day, and then we'll open them up for them when they come back to the dorms. But we haven't decided yet whether or not we're going to issue individual keys to individual rooms. But the general exterior dorms are not only are they locked, but we have people standing there, making sure that nobody comes in and out.
How are the pods chosen?
Randomly.
Okay. What about beach safety?
Your beach safety, there's no reason that the students should ever be going down on the beach in the course of our program. Again, it's Mass Maritime Academy. There's a lot of things that can go wrong there. One of the biggest safety things that they're going to hear on that Monday morning is under no circumstances is a student ever to go off alone or go off without telling anybody. It's a buddy system, and the campus is open to the fishermen that come on and off during the day. So we've got our eyes on them. But the beach, there's no reason that they'd be down on the beach at all, or even actually near the water, other than going on and off one of the training ships or the schooner. Or if there is one, excuse me, there is one STEM class that they go out on a boat.
When do we find out what track our child is assigned to?
You should have already had that, I believe. But if not, if you can shoot a message off to Gwen, we can get that to you.
Yeah, and Gwen, if you can put your email in the chat while I'm reading these people, I'm sure they have it, but just in case they don't.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Was that you, Gwen? Oh,
That was me agreeing, sorry.
perfect. No, you're good. Is a suitcase preferred for packing or is a trunk fine?
Just you're gonna have to lug it upstairs. That's the only thing I would say to you. Unfortunately, there's no elevators in third and fifth company.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I'm sorry I keep jumping in, but
No,
when
that's okay.
my youngest was there, we had just bought new suitcases because we were going away that summer, and he is a skinny kid, and he dragged his suitcase all the way down the 5 flights of stairs or whatever at the end of the session and broke our suitcase. So pack lighter than you think, and a trunk would they have to get their own stuff down most of the time, right? At the end, Steve?
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Okay. Are students permitted to use any of the athletic facilities on campus?
That would be probably first, there wouldn't be any time for them to actually do that the way the program is configured. My answer to you on that was probably not.
What is the deadline for tuition?
It's the
May 22nd.
Sorry,
May.
say that again, Gwen?
May 22nd, but
Okay.
if you need some flexibility, just send me an email and we can work on it.
Great.
Okay.
Can students bring tuition? No, I read that completely wrong. Can students bring computers?
They can. It's just I just don't know when they're going to have much time to use it.
How many total kids are in the program?
Right now, we're looking at an estimated of 220 kids, but we always have a percentage that just don't show up on the day the program commences, and we do have parents that just haven't responded to us. So we don't know what their plans are. So that when I said we won't know what the rooming assignments are going to be for a couple of weeks prior to the start of the program, that's one of the reasons. But I'm going under the assumption we'll have in and around 220 kids, which is good.
That is it in the chat because Gwen responded to another question directly to someone. So it looks like those are the questions we have.
This is going to be a fantastic program this year. And I say that because last year, Mass Maritime Academy itself was under significant construction. So a lot of the training facilities and classroom spaces and computer labs were not available to us. And we didn't have a training ship. This year, we've got everything. And the academy has been very, very good about pretty much opening up everything that they can to us. The athletic facilities, I mean, there is some summer sports that are going on there. Other than that, most everything else will be available for.
We got a few more questions that have come in. Do rooms
Yeah,
have
I would try to the parents' day. I would try to get on campus by about 9
Wait.
o'clock.
That wasn't the one. There are more. Do rooms have a mini fridge?
No, they do not.
Is there a bathroom in the room or are they in the hallway?
They're in the hallway. They're very spacious with individual stalls and individual toilets enclosed, plenty of privacy.
For the awards, how would the kids benefit if they got an award? What is the benefit for that?
It depends on what the circumstances of the scholarship is going to be, but in years past, it's been a scholarship for the Mass Maritime Academy for 4 years, but it covers the tuition piece, so it's not the fees.
And that question about the parents visit on the parent visit on the Sunday,
It's Sunday the 13th.
and what time should they show up?
I would try to arrive about 9 o'clock.
Around 9 o'clock. Okay. Are the kids doing their own laundry or is it a service that does it?
It's the poor service is Eddie Vasher and Felicity and Ainsley Dean. All right.
I didn't know that.
So yeah, it is.
That's
But it's
amazing.
free, and we've got the soap detergent and all that stuff. It went very, very well last year, but the year before that we didn't have the mesh bags. It was a nightmare.
For the room, someone's asking, will we be able to see our dorm roommate before it starts? So I don't know if that means
Probably not.
okay.
But as we get closer to the program, if you shoot an email off to myself or Gwen, we can probably give you the name of your room. There's just too many kids in this program for me to be able to tell everyone who their roommates are gonna be, and I'm not so sure that parents want us giving out contact information.
Mhm.
what should kids wear to graduation and the dances?
On the graduation, they're all going to be in their pod T-shirts, and what they wear to the dances is appropriate attire. And I'll leave that up to the parents to answer that, to fill in the blanks on that one.
But not dressy.
Not dressy.
No.
No. These dances, the thing I like the most about the dances is the kids sleep real well that night.
Yeah.
And they don't dance, they just jump up and down. I don't.
Are there themes of the dances?
Yeah, there is. We usually let the cadets, I mean, excuse me, the students decide. Last year they did like a glow stick night, which we ended up going out and buying glow sticks, and then another one they did a Hawaiian night. And in other years past, they did like hippie night and stuff like that. Yeah, they'll come up with some kind of theme.
Are the beds side by side?
Now they're bunk beds, so you got one up above, one down below, and then you'll have another one down low because the rooms are configured for 3 students.
Okay. Is this meeting recorded? Yes, the meeting was recorded. I started like a couple seconds after Steve started into the bulk of it, but yes, it was. I do know that there are people who tried to get in and we were at capacity, which should not have happened. So this is my angry face. We'll figure out why, but the meeting was recorded. It will get, I'll put it on a YouTube, on our YouTube channel, and then Gwen will send it out to everybody so you can watch this recording as well. So my apologies for that. Oh, okay. I'm like, somebody wrote my name in the chat, but thank you. You're welcome. Any
Okay.
other last questions? And this isn't the last opportunity. I put Gwen's email in the chat quite a bit, a few times, so that when new people were coming in, they could see it. But you can also go to our website and find any of us anytime.
Okay. All right, folks, that's all I've got. I'm looking forward to seeing your sons and daughters at the program, seeing you there on the 6th of July. It's going to be fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope, can you stay on for a second?